Hello everyone, welcome to Competition Edge. I'm Parini Sharma. In the last video, we discussed about the Vedic age. In today's video, we are going to cover the topic the 16 Mahajanapads. So, without wasting time, let's get started. The period from 600 BCE to 300 BCE saw a shift from the tribes-based polity of the Vedic age to a state-based political structure. These states are known as the Mahajanapads. What are we going to learn in this chapter? First of all, the sources of this time period, the 16 states, the political, economic, and social conditions of the time, what were the Gansangs, and finally, we'll see the emergence of Magad as the most powerful amongst all the states. Coming to the sources first, the Brahmanical texts, such as the Dharma Shastra, the Griha Sutras, which we have already covered in the Vedic age chapter. Then, the Buddhist text, that is the Jataks, जातक कथाएं जो सबने सुनी होंगी बचपन में, the Tripitaks. Then the Jain texts which are known as the Agams. We will cover these texts in detail in the next chapter. And the Greek records. Since Greeks started arriving in India during this period, both as traders and invaders, so the Greek records also become an important source of information of this time. Now, this is the map of these 16 states. There is no need to learn all the 16 states. Here we will cover the important and the easy ones. First of all, Gandhar, with its capital at Takshashila. Takshashila is credited for being the oldest university in the world. पूरे विश्व का सबसे पुराना विश्वविद्यालय था तक्षशिला. Then Kuru, with its capital at Indraprasth. Panchal, capital at Ahitchhatra. Shursen, capital at Mathura. Matsya, capital at Viratnagar. And Ang, with its capital at Champa. Now all these 6 states are mentioned in Mahabharata. जैसे कौरवों की माता का नाम था गांधारी. She was the princess of Gandhar. कर्ण को अंग का राजा बनाया था दुर्योधन ने. शूरसेन की कैपिटल मथुरा, जन्म स्थान है भगवान कृष्ण का. तो इस तरह से अगर आप महाभारत के स्टोरीज के साथ रिलेट करके पढ़ेंगे तो दे विल बिकम इजी टू रिमेंबर. Another very easy one is Kashi, with its capital at Banaras. Banaras is the oldest continuously inhabited city in the world. पूरे विश्व का सबसे पुराना बसा हुआ शहर है बनारस. अवंती का कैपिटल भी बहुत फेमस सिटी है, उज्जैनी, which is present day Ujjain. Koshal was a very powerful state under the king Prasenajit. Now Koshal की कैपिटल है श्रावस्ती, which is associated with the legend of Angulimal and Lord Buddha. And finally, the most important one is Magad, with its first capital at Rajgir, and later the capital shifted to Patliputra. Patliputra is the present-day Patna. Also, the presence of Kamboj and Gandhar shows जिसको आज के टाइम पर अफगानिस्तान कहते हैं, एक टाइम पर वो भी इंडिया का ही पार्ट हुआ करता था. I will provide the names of all the 16 states along with their capitals in the description below. And we will now move on to the political conditions. In the Vedic age chapter, we saw that it was a tribes-based polity in the early Vedic age and the importance of Rajan increased in the later Vedic age. Now, we can see the emergence of the concept of states. यानी बड़े बड़े राज्य देखने में आ रहे हैं अब, जिन्हें जनपद कहा जाता था. Some states became more powerful and important than the others. These states came to be known as the Mahajanapads. Since states came into being, so there were kings to rule them. तो पूरे राज्य का एक व्यक्ति राजा बन गया. This kingship became hereditary. मतलब वंशवाद. राजा का बेटा ही राजा बनेगा. and the powers of these kings started increasing. जैसे अब ये राज्य को चलाने के लिए मंत्री अपॉइंट करने लगे, that is the ministers, who were called the amatyas. Also, they started maintaining permanent armies which reported to the king. Then we see the emergence of city life. बड़े बड़े शहर अस्तित्व में आ रहे हैं, जैसे पाटलिपुत्र, श्रावस्ती, बनारस, मथुरा, तक्षशिला, etc. So this is known as the phase of second urbanization in India. What was the first phase of urbanization? The Indus Valley cities. The cities emerged as the centers of political powers, crafts, trade, etc. Coming to the economic conditions, for the first time we see that coins came into use. जैसे जैसे शहर बड़े हो रहे थे, नए occupations इमर्ज हो रहे थे, barter system से ट्रेड करना डिफिकल्ट होता जा रहा था. Therefore, the need of a standardized currency. Hence, the coinage system. These coins were called पण. पण कहा जाता था coins को. As we have already seen that powers of kings were increasing. तो they were maintaining ministers, they were maintaining army. इसलिए a well developed taxation system evolved. ये taxes crops पे, crafts पे, animal produce पे, trade पर लगते थे. Land became an important source of revenue. Forest land, mines, we all know that it is an iron age. तो iron ores और wasteland directly अब state control में आते थे. Therefore, land was an important source of revenue for the state. Craft specialization. Crafts such as carpentry, weaving, jewelry making, etc. developed as specialized forms and they became the permanent professions for people. Apart from that, new occupations such as tailors, painters, cooks, etc. were also emerging. Now, with an increase in population, the importance of agriculture continued. Equipments made of iron came to be used. Due to craft specialization and development of a standardized currency, trade also increased manifold. Therefore, new trade routes also developed. Two major routes were Uttarpath and Dakshinpath. Uttarpath, which extended from Takshashila in Gandhar to Rajgir in Magad. Then Dakshinpath. Dakshinpath extended from Patliputra in Magad to Pratishthan, which is in present-day Maharashtra. Also, trade was taking place via sea routes. One another point to remember is that emergence of coinage system does not mean that the barter system came to an end. That also continued. Now, the concept of private property. See, some people were rich enough to acquire private properties. Example, there is a story of a Seth named Anantapindak who donated his land to the Buddhist Sangh, which means that private property did exist. As the economic conditions were changing, so were the social conditions. So, this is the time of the beginning of the caste system, Jati Vyavastha. We have already covered the concept of Varna in the Vedic Age chapter. According to Dharm Shastra, Jati was the outcome of intervarna marriages. अलग अलग वर्ण में शादी का नतीजा है जाति. Same as their preceding societies, this was also a patriarchal system. ये हमें देखने मिलता है inheritance rules में. Only the sons are allowed to inherit the properties of their parents. Daughters are not allowed to inherit properties. Funerary rites, अंत्येष्टि सिर्फ बेटे करते हैं. Lineage, वंश सिर्फ बेटा आगे बढ़ा सकता है. Now, because daughters were not allowed to inherit properties of their parents, the concept of Stridhan evolved. What is Stridhan? Stridhan are the tangible goods given to a daughter during the time of her marriage or childbirth or during other events. Another important point is that marriage within Varna is prescribed, but there is also mention of Anulom and Pratilom marriages in the धर्मशास्त्र. अनुलोम मैरिजेस जो धर्म के अकॉर्डिंग होती थी एंड प्रतिलोम मैरिजेस जो धर्म के उलट जाकर के होती थी, which means that intervarna marriages might have been less, but they did exist. Also, there is mention of 8 types of marriages in the Dharma Shastra. Coming to the Brahmadeyas now, this is an important one. ब्रह्मदेय उस लैंड को बोला जाता है जो किंग्स ब्राह्मण कम्युनिटी को दान में देते थे. The land which was given to the Brahmins by the kings as a gift. This shows that some kind of nexus developed between the priestly and the ruling class. And this time is also marked by the rise of Buddhism and Jainism. We will cover both these topics as a separate chapter. Now see what were the Ganasanghs. रिसेंटली हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी जी ने यूनाइटेड नेशंस में अपनी स्पीच में कहा था, इंडिया इज नॉट जस्ट द लार्जेस्ट डेमोक्रेसी, इट इज द मदर ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी. भारत केवल सबसे बड़ा लोकतंत्र नहीं है, बल्कि लोकतंत्र का जन्मदाता भी है. When he said this, he was referring to the Ganasanghs. Ganasanghs are small republics. First of all, these were oligarchies. Oligarchies matlab they were ruled by a group of people and not by a hereditary king. These group of people took decisions by consultations amongst themselves. Their meeting halls were called Santhagar. Unlike the Mahajanpads, they did not have a permanent standing army. Their soldiers were mercenaries. Now, what are these mercenaries? It means जो पैसे लेकर लड़ते हैं, but they are not professional soldiers. Interesting चीज जो यहाँ पर है, the Mahajanpads developed in the plain regions, whereas the Ganasanghs were consolidated in the Himalayan foothills. A number of Ganasanghs became very famous, such as the Shakyas, the Koliyas, the Lichavis, Lord Buddha belonged to the Shakya clan, and that is why he is also called Shakyamuni. Let's come to the case of Magad now. Out of all the states, Magad emerged as the most powerful of all. Therefore, we will study Magad separately. So, the first known dynasty that ruled Magad is the Haryank dynasty. The founder of this dynasty was Bimbisar. And another very important ruler was his son Ajatashatru. After the Haryank dynasty came to an end, the Shishunag dynasty emerged, which was founded by Shishunag. And another very important ruler is Kalashok. After the Shishunag dynasty came to an end, the Nanda dynasty came to power, which was founded by a ruler named Mahapadmananda and went on till Dhananand, who was later defeated by Chandragupta Maurya. See, here I have told you the names of important rulers only because you are not required to know each and every king. Also, if you are not able to remember the dates of these dynasties, that is also fine. Just remember the chronology. With this, we have come to an end of this chapter. If you have any doubts regarding the topic, please ask them in the comment section. And if you like the video, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.